So the MTN debacle is one that has created a lot of opinions. Many people giving theirs. Opinions basically flying all over the place. The issue right now is that we have more people willing to buy than more people willing to sell. And that has created a problem. A problem we'll be trying to solve with this series. Do stay with us.
The Nigerian Stock Exchange, which was established in 1960 as the Lagos Stock Exchange and changed its name in 1977, has 169 listed companies with a total market capitalization of over 13 trillion naira. All listings are included in the Nigerian Stock Exchange All Shares Index. In terms of market capitalization, the Nigerian Stock Exchange is the second largest stock exchange in Africa. On the 16th of May 2019, telecommunications giant MTN joined the exchange by introduction, listing a total of 20.3 billion ordinary shares at 90 naira per share. After meeting all regulatory requirements from both the NSE and the Securities and Exchange Commission, the listing by introduction meant no new shares were created, and what was available for sale were only shares existing owners were willing to sell. This, met with an unprecedented amount of demand, saw the company value jump 10% each day for its first few days on the market. But to understand it all, we decided to visit a few friends to break it all down.
One IPO as the initial public offering, two by memorandum as like a mutual fund, and then three by introduction like MTN just did. The listing wasn't actually so different. In the past 1 year, we've had about 14 delistings from the market and two listings on the market. The first one, and both of them were done by introduction. First was Notori, which was done earlier this year, and the second was MTN. I think the reason why people think it's different is because, one, people don't really know Notori chemicals. They do fertilizers and all of that. People don't really know them. They're not a household name like MTN, and that's why there was hype around MTN like that. But there was no real. It's not so different from what we've seen in the past. Frankly, I don't know if anything could have been done better. So there are ongoing investigations right now. SEC is investigating. EFCC also went to MTN's office on Friday, and they're also investigating them. But from what we've seen is that the NSE came out as the regulatory authority, and they came out, they said MTN followed legal or due procedure in the listing. So first of all, they met the minimum requirements, which is either 20% of your issued capital, or you have about 40 billion. And as at the day of the listing, they said they had 90 billion. So they met up with the requirements. They met up with the shares that they were meant to float also, and they said they filed with the NSE and SEC beforehand. So now that they're conducting their investigations, we'll wait for them to come out and see if there's anything that MTN could have done better. But for now, we don't think there's any real reason. I think the major reason why there is so much noise about or clamor about it right now is because everyone knows MTN. MTN is a brand name. It's embedded in the minds and memory of every Nigerian. And the fact that everyone wants a piece of MTN shares. But when they came out to list by introduction, so initially they came out and they said they were going to do an IPO, which was a public offering, meaning they were going to offer new shares. But then they had outstanding issues with the AGF. They had fines that they were meant to pay, and so they changed it. That they went. So they feel like they should clean their books first, or they should clean their. They should settle everything that they had to settle before they come out to do an IPO. So they changed it to a listing by introduction, and I think that's where everyone got it wrong, because everyone still thought it was going to be an IPO, and that's where all the commotion started from. That's basically forces of demand and supply. So the more the demand, the higher the prices go. The more the supply, the lower the prices go. And at a point, the two of them come into what's the word? Sorry. Equilibrium. Yes, the two of them meet at a certain point, and it settles at that point. And that's what we call price discovery.
Lanre Gboluro. I'm a director at Chapter and I'm the leading investment bank in Nigeria and also in West Africa. It's a function of supply and demand. I mean, that's the only way a price goes up, and there's no form of mechanism in which prices fall and go up. It's a matter of a willing seller, a willing buyer, and they pretty much agree on the price. But like I said, it's a matter of supply and demand, and at that equilibrium, a price is determined. And that's the only straightforward way and legal way for price discovery.
All right, so the facts are clear. By the rules of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, MTN did nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, they are not the first company to list their introduction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And except I don't remember properly, I don't think that there was this much concern where Medview or Cavitin listed, but their introduction on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. And there's something to be said about that. The bigger a business is, the more it seems to get under scrutiny. This is a global trend, a thing that companies like Microsoft, Google, Facebook understand a little too well. The bigger you are, the more attention you get. And of course, the more scrutiny it gets when you come to do one or two things. There is an alternative, of course. You might remain small, but nobody wants that.